Right, folks, so creating and crafting in the autumn equinox. So the autumn equinox is all about crafting as witches, witchcraft. Okay, now there's all different types of craft in witchcraft. It isn't all to do with spells and rituals in tarot. There's also crafting as in making things, being all cozy. When we stay in all warm and cozy, we don't feel like going out into the cold, or if we do, we're going into the forest, so you need to wrap up warm in the cozy boots and coats. So right now I'm going to talk to you about crafting as a witch. Now witches obviously like to craft around this time because it's a time that we, don't really want to venture out too much. It's a bit cold, or if we do, maybe we're just gathering some autumn leaves or some acorns and pine cones, which we do like to use in our crafts because everything from the forest is gifts. Everything's there for us to create and craft in our witchcraft. So if you're creating as a witch, you might want to do what we call gathering. And on the autumn equinox, this hunter's moon, as we go from the hunter's moon to the gold moon, it's all about crafting. It's all about gathering. So the hunter's moon, which we're in, is about gathering. So this is the time before we get into that cold moon to go and gather some autumn leaves, like I said, acorns, things like that. Ivy is a good evergreen, and you can start crafting your spell jars. Maybe you want to make one of these. I've just bought this actually from the forest. It's a stick, but I'm actually going to make it into a nice, really big staff, as you can see. And I'm going to be covering that in some fake moss, because obviously we can't use moss in our craft. So, but then I'm going to Mod Podge some autumn leaves, glitter them up with organic glitter, because obviously we need to think of the environment as witches. And also I think I'm going to be putting some acorns on that. So I've gathered my acorns for that. Kind of reminds me of a Jupiter staff, sort of all about prosperity and abundance, which Jupiter would resemble. So I actually loved that, the gift from the forest, that I was actually led to that. So yeah, fantastic. There's so many different crafts you can make. You can find some twigs in the forest and make a pentagram and decorate it with acorns and some leaves and ivy that way if you like. Maybe you could Mod Podge up some roses. I remember doing that here on my library. Mod Podge some roses and you could stick them up. Mod Podged roses are beautiful, very beautiful. But if you're thinking autumn, you could do some little hanging sticks, and you could hang your herbs off them, sort of put the twine on with a little stick and then hang your dried herbs off. That's another thing you can make from the forest on autumn equinox. Or maybe you want to make a little puppet like this. I didn't make it, this one. I do make a lot of things, but not this one. I also buy. I bought this one off. This is Goddess Modron, little puppet that somebody made on Etsy. So if you're really good with twine and fabric, making puppets are beautiful. And this is an autumn equinox puppet that someone's made and I bought. So yes, it is the time of hot chocolate, pumpkins and getting cozy as we come onto Samhain, which some of you will know as Halloween. It is all about creativity, and we're connecting with that Hermit card. The Hermit card is definitely the autumn equinox card. It's about staying in, and we can still connect with witchcraft, and we can still connect with spirits. And you don't need to go out and buy all these expensive craft things in witchcraft. That's the whole thing. We're using gifts from the forest or gifts from the sea, or wherever you like to gather. This is the month of gathering, which we will call the hunter's moon. So we're gathering. So go out and gather those gifts from the forest that you're going to be crafting in the winter months. What I would advise with your leaves, I've got some leaves out there actually in my wicker basket, is if you want to preserve them, in your witchcrafts, get some Mod Podge. You can buy that in craft shops or on that big brown box place online. I don't like to say the word. Mod Podge is brilliant. Just Mod Podge your leaves up. This will preserve them, stops them drying out and crackling. And you can also add glitter to that and all sorts of things that will actually preserve them if you don't want to use your leaves immediately. And you can use them when we come into that cold moon next month and start using them for your crafts then. So, or they're just going to, you know, with the central heating and the warmth, they're going to crackle in, you know, be no good. Where in the forest, they're very moist. They don't tend to do that in the natural environment. So a little witchcraft crafting tip for you there. Let me know in the comments below what you're going to be crafting today. So I'm going to be getting on and mossing that up, my staff. I'm a bit excited. Catch you soon.